Schritt.
It seems like the unbelievable is happening. You know how a while ago Riot announced that they are shutting down Hytale? Because apparently it's been in a sort of a development limbo. I mean, Riot poured many millions into this project, and with every new million, it seems like the game was getting further and further away from release. And they did
sollen das
not
MMO fertig bauen,
release
das wäre
any kind of
crazy.
early access. And so either Riot had to cut the costs and just let it go, or they would continue funding it and just pray that the costs will get back to them. Now after this, some of the Hytale developers also came out and said that the entire project was kinda mishandled. Nobody confirmed it directly, but it might have happened during the change in leadership, with the entire situation being quite sad because in the community's eyes, this has been a beloved game, even though the game was not even out. And of course, it was most popular in the Minecraft community, which I am definitely not part of.
Ich bisschen. Nicht wirklich, aber ein bisschen.
Anvils. I'm ancient. But after the great disaster happened, when Riot decided to cut the Hypixel studios and drop Hytale, the truth is that Hytale was still part of the Riot IP. I mean, they acquired it together with the entire studio back in 2020, meaning that while the game has been effectively cancelled, it has only been shelved. And all the materials and all the progress has not been lost. It was still available. And that was the opportunity which the original founder of Hytale wanted to grab onto. This is the person that's been with Hytale since day one. They've been in charge until the change in leadership happened, and so naturally, seeing that Riot decided to drop the project, as the original founder, Simon Hytale, I really hope that's his real name, decided to step in and potentially revive everyone's dreams. And with that, around the middle of August, the negotiations began. In a tweet that seems to be
Also warte, Riot hat Hytale gekauft und dann fallen lassen, das Projekt, oder wie? Da gab es ja den ganzen Layoff letztes Jahr, wo 5 Leute entlassen wurden, mehrere Projekte, die dann gecancelt wurden, auch Riot Forge-Projekte gecancelt, MMO ja scheinbar auf die nächsten 20 Jahre verlegt, gecancelt. Aber es geht jetzt weiter, oder was?
It now. It all started when Simon announced that there is a way to acquire the game, with the downside being that they would have to release an early access without a lot of the features. This would have to happen to start the open source process as well as some kind of crowdfunding. He also insisted on letting people know that they should keep their expectations low. When games are shut down by companies, the chances of reviving them afterwards are near impossible.
Okay.
But he did confirm he is pursuing the game even if the chances are low. And then, on August the 12th, we got this tweet. All in, locked in, which confirmed that some kind of negotiations were happening. After which an interesting chain of tweets happened. Just made my final counteroffer and the only chance to see Hytale. I'm going all in. This is the timeline, let's go. The offer is 10 times what the true market value is. They have no team, no one can start or compile the game anymore. I hired most of who could and I will continue to do so in the coming days. Hytale is for the players, by the players. After this, things got serious, but not publicly, because all of these negotiations are happening between companies. And since he was down to inflate the value of Hytale to get it, well now the chances of actually
Aber warum würde man tweeten, das Angebot ist 10-mal das, was dem Marktwert entspricht? Also, I guess, wenn der Deal schon fertig ist, kann man noch nachtreten. Aber während, also, Ich bin so verwirrt.
It are decent. And so in the upcoming days, we got this tweet. I am in active discussions with Riot Games about acquiring Hytale. Updates will be limited from now on as we work through it.
Also warte, er hat das Projekt an Riot verkauft und jetzt will er es zurückkaufen. Heißt, dein Angebot ist 10-mal das, was dem Marktwert entspricht? Hä? Um zu zeigen, dass er all in ist. Okay, das ist krank. Also warte, er hat alle Leute angestellt, die daran arbeiten können. Riot Games verkauft es ihm für den 10-fachen Preis und das ist gut? Wenn er das 10-fache zahlt? Ich bin so verwirrt.
You for believing in Hytale, Simon. And this was the bomb that set off all the excitement and the dread. Because now that things got official, whatever the outcome would be, would likely be final. But after that, he clarified that this was good news. So now it seemed like there is a big chance of some kind of acquisition happening. And so Hytale, now separate.
Ja, honestly, du hast recht, Savalil. Ich wollte auch gerade sagen, nennt mich Aluhut, aber ist es nicht einfach Marketing dann? Also es ist einfach so halt Drama erschaffen, um das Ganze zu bewerben, um es Hype zu machen irgendwie? No?
Might actually be coming. And what's interesting is that that's not where the news end. Because after the original shutdown of the Hypixel studios, to secure new positions in the industry, all the devs were allowed to post what they worked on for their portfolios. This is a cool thing which possibly Riot allowed them to do. Because normally when you are working on any kind of project that could be considered R&D, which is research and development, you have to live with the fact that maybe whatever you are working on may never see the light of day. And so when you are applying for the next job, you can't even say what you worked on. But since the Hytale devs were able to come out, we got some interesting posts. We got devs who made some 3D models of the monsters that would be present in the game. For example, this is what they called a Quebec protector. We also got examples of people making some really cool UI animations for the game, including the ultimate UI animation, which could rival Overwatch. But more importantly, Cale Gilmore also posted their portfolio, which included a lot of presentations, all of which are focusing on the general design of the game. So it holds a lot of information. For example, there is an entire presentation on the players being able to experience Hytale as a cozy game. In a way, Minecraft is technically a cozy game too. So to expand on it, they would let their players have micro games. These would be user-made minigames. And to support all kinds of social play, they would also have emotes. But to make them something more than what Fortnite has, these emotes could be modified. Another example of this would be interactable objects in the game, specifically objects that could be thrown or kicked. The reason this feature would be important is because players could use this to make all sorts.
Aber ich skippe mal nach vorne, weil das Game noch im Development ist, das interessiert mich nicht so sehr. Das finde ich keiner cool mit so Sion in dieser Art Grafik oder The Monster Kill in Hytale. Der Hype war ja vor 2 Jahren gefühlt davon noch ganz, also relativ groß von dem ganzen Thema. Dass jetzt wieder auftaucht, überrascht mich irgendwie. Wobei ich auch überhaupt nicht verstehe, was passiert. Ich bin komplett verwirrt.
As an example of a working system in Hytale. This is what sparked some really interesting debates. Because from the very beginning, Riot Games purchasing Hytale has always been kinda odd. These were two companies with little to no overlap between each other. I mean, in the past, Riot acquired some other teams, but every time they've done so, they made that team make a new game using their IP. In fact, this is what happened to
Ja, genau.
But now they kinda acquired Hytale
Und haben sterben lassen.
and let them do what they've done before. No one really knew why this happened, which is why it always seemed like a proper business purchase. Well, now it seems like the entire time it is possible that Riot wanted to use the adventure mode of Hytale to put adventures from League's universe into it.
Cool.
What's more interesting is that the acquisition of Hytale happened the same year Riot's MMO was announced, or soft announced. So all of this seems to be stemming from the idea that Riot...
Krank, das MMO wurde 2020 announced, da meinten sie jetzt so in 10 Jahren. 5 Jahre später, es kommt vielleicht in 20 Jahren und jetzt, mein Stand ist jetzt aktuell, ist, dass es einfach nie kommt. Einfach tot ist aktuell, aber who knows.
Just really wanted to have some kind of open world for the League IP. And they were willing to buy an entire game with the potential of making it reality. But then, of course, that didn't exactly happen.
MMO kommt safe, ja, Rede. Wir spielen das gemeinsam im Altersheim, ganz genau.
Now, overlooking the development, it was eventually shelved. But again, there seems to be
Soon, TM.
side to the story. Because only a few weeks ago, Simon started replying to people again, and every time he did, he seemed really optimistic about it. So if you are a fan of Hytale, things might be spinning in the right direction now. But I doubt that if this was the case, Riot would want to drag their IP out of it. So you know what? Maybe Hytale will become independent again. And maybe all the active discussions are about how can Riot still keep the League universe inside this game. Either way, it seems like this community-beloved game is still rolling on. And it better be. I mean, have you seen the stats on Roblox? Apparently these days, that game is bigger than all the other gaming platforms combined.
Ist das so?
They really need competition.
Ich habe noch nie in meinem Leben Roblox gespielt. Ich weiß, es beliebt ist, aber ich noch nie. Wow, das sieht ja absolut insane aus. Und Roblox ist wie Hytale, also von der Idee. Ich dachte, Roblox ist wie Minecraft. Aber es ist quasi mehr so community-orientiert, mehr Customization, also mehr Customization als in Minecraft ist eigentlich hart. Anyway, ich fühle mich nach diesem Video wie dümmer als vorher. Ich habe überhaupt nicht verstanden, was passiert. Weil es auch ein Video liegt oder an mir, aber es wurde verkauft an Riot. Dann hat Riot einfach nichts damit gemacht. Das hat der Typ es für den 10-fachen Marktwert zurückgeholt und Leute angestellt, die daran arbeiten können. Aber immer noch kann es unter den Riot-Sachen rauskommen. Ich habe keine Ahnung. War ein weirdes Video. Habe ich nicht verstanden. Bin ich zu dumm für scheinbar. Aber ja, also ich bin immer großer Freund von neuem Content, alles was League of Legends angeht und die Story am Leben zu halten, auch in anderen Games, warum nicht? Und Competition und neue Leute da abzugrasen, immer geil. Das Riot-Universum größer machen, cool. Kriegt einen Upvote, obwohl ich nicht wirklich gereilt habe, was